used to be like unicorns are only from Bangalore, Bombay, and NCR, Gurgaon, and all that, but it's not so. The latest ones are coming from smaller towns, and now Goa has the latest unicorn. Having said that, answering Sir's question, how many people use credit? Or have heard of credit? Or know what credit do? Okay. So the biggest advantage that we have as Indians is what? Right now, India is the most populous country in the world. We have a rising population. It has its drawbacks, but definitely it has its amazing opportunities and potential for us as businessmen. Now, if we have the largest population, we have the largest market in the world, the largest youngest market in the world also. So there is a session which I keep going about growth hacking, and the smart options said it's actually referred to growth hacking. How do we hack growth? And what will take maybe 2 years or 3 years, we can do it in 3 months or 4 months. That's what scales up our business very fast. If you can do that without spending much money, then obviously you become a hero company within no time. So what I always say is instead of looking for customers, hear this again. Instead of looking for customers, look for clients who already have your customer. So suppose you have a client and you want to say, okay, I'm into this loyalty program for very nice things. You would go to start spending on one customer. How long would it take? You would have to spend so much, reach so many customers and stuff and that stuff. But what did client do? They started tying up with banks. So if they tie up with the ICICI Bank has millions of customers. They all become clients customers automatically. They tie up with the next bank, they all become clients customers, and so on and so forth. So Grant came up with a product where they knew if I just tie up with like 7 banks, I have millions of customers in India. But overnight, that was very recently years. He was one unique, right? Do you know what Craig's revenue was when they became a unicorn? The unicorn valuation is 8,000 crores. So what was Craig's revenue when they became a unicorn? Anybody? How much? Less than 100 crores. Anyone else want to take a chance? Sorry. Yeah. So the revenue of Craig was 50 lakh rupees and the valuation was 8,000 crores. Right? There were so many questions answered. There were so many memes. There were so many people saying that what rubbish is this, what valuation, risk valuations. Today we know that value of that data. Today he's just launched Credit Garage. He just launched Credit Personal Loans. So today he has everybody's data. He knows who spends how much, will the person pay back, how they're spending on, and so on and so forth. He can launch any business in the fintech world. It's the power of data. Did he get that data? No. Did he spend on that? No. Did he make ads and doing stalls and all to get people to apply to it? No. He tied up with the banks. Oh, the banks have closed already. Right? So can you come up with a product which can be used by Zomato's customers? So all you have to do is tell Zomato, I have this product which can be used by customers, and how many customers do they have? Do you have a product which can be made which Swiggy's customers can use? Overnight, you will be a success. There are brands who become a unicorn in 6 months. A unicorn in 6 months. Mensa brand is one of them. Mensa brand, sorry. And so many more. But how they done that? Is careful. Exactly whom they will target. Because of India is a huge population. Everybody is. So I think my two bits is on that of course in more and on, but this is the most key point which I want to give you.
Thank you. I think you are enjoying the session, but I expect your thoughts through questions. I sometimes as a teacher in examination, sometimes ask the student instead of answering any question, it is better to frame a question paper. I sometimes give an assignment. Suppose you are in a term and a multiple choice question, short term question, wrong. So all the syllabus will be covered. You frame a question paper. So I will expect that you will ask question at least the piece of paper with you, or you will raise questions. So it will be a good two-way traffic. It is not that only the panel members will always feel. Then you will really enjoy. So we are having this startup. To start, there are some risk factors. World Economic Forum, they have identified mostly that to make it is very a national startup and to make it success, to scale up the business, already he has pointed out and mentioned the real areas that how to make the talent acquisition for the performance of this startup. There are a few points to be remembered. What are these? That there will be a very clear purpose. Purpose needs to be clear. You are doing in operation management, you are writing that there is the function of Z. What is your operational function? You are writing a general objective function. So clear vision should be there. Next, there will be one thing is important, that is a passionate team member. That means strategy is good. Who will implement the strategy? It is a question mark. You are doing in BCG matrix, there is a question mark in one matrix. What is this question? And definitely there is a robust finance. Already it is discussed that financial structure is good, but can you manage the finance? You are having fun. So, and fund management is important. And last one is innovation. In this backdrop, I'm asking my fellow member of this panel that what you are feeling relating to the ways to go ahead, how one should take preparation to make the startup successful. To go ahead, what are the areas to be given major trust so that the checklist they can maintain before starting, a mind frame should be prepared. Your idea, please.
Quick question. What do you think is the single most important factor in the early days of a startup? Any thought? Could be team, it could be customer, it could be capital, it could be market, it could be idea. What do you guys think? Idea. That's all. Idea. Okay. See, before you start anything, the single most important thing to understand is who are your customers? Do they have a problem? You can have a bunch of ideas. Ideas only work if they truly matter to your customer. There are different stages that come in company building. Like Suraj mentioned, the scale up stage. How do you go about after you have achieved a certain level? You can unlock partnerships, you can grow that your way to increasing your customers, increasing your revenue, increasing everything, get more traction in. Pre that is the 0 to 1 stage. That's more like, let's say, the 1 to 100 or 1 to 10, whatever you want to term it. Pre that is a 0 to 1 stage. The question Professor pointed out was more the -1 to 0 stage, is how I'd like to call it. Before you even put anything on the table, like let's say you want to start up and you want to quit your job, you have an idea, and thinking that, okay, let me go ahead and start and do something. You want to get some things off the ground before jumping into it full time. Right? The most important part is just understanding whether there is a problem that exists, validating it by talking to as many people as possible. If you're doing a consumer business, it's hard. You can't talk to millions of people and understand that is it a market which millions of people can. You can access millions of people as a customer, right? If you're doing a B2B startup, it's relatively more easier because you talk to 50 customers, 100 customers, get some sense out of it, and then go ahead and build it. But there are also surefire, cheap ways to understand whether you're building a consumer company or a B2B company, to know whether there is some meat in your idea or not. Right? The most important part is one, to clearly distill down your problem statement, that this is my customer, this is the problem that they are facing, and this is the kind of solution that I can offer which will alleviate their problem. And this is the amount of money that I can possibly make by alleviating that problem. The second part to it is how many possible customers would be having that problem. This is where most people I see kind of go wrong. They dream that there would be millions of customers who would need, let's say, I want to book a rickshaw, not a cab, not an auto, but a rickshaw. People tend to think there are millions of people who want a rickshaw and they'll pay you for it and stuff like that, right? But that might not exist. And even if there are people, will that be a sustainable business model going forward or not? Will the unit economics work? It doesn't require you to go ahead and do a lot of capital deployment to understand all of that. It's just basic pen and paper maths. That you can pick up a pen, you can pick up a paper, how many engineers would you need, what kind of people would you need, what kind of potential money you can make, how does it look like from 0 to 6 months to 1 year to 2 year to 5 year and so on. In the earlier stages, once you have established an idea, or once you have kind of validated it to some extent with whatever various research you're doing, uh, the second most important thing is to constantly listen to your customers. What you started with, is that holding true? Is that changing? Is it working across a lot of people? And second is get the right team in place. Because without the right kind of people, whatever you try is not going to work out. Whatever capital you throw is not going to work out. Today or tomorrow, it's going to die. So these two, I believe, are the most important things when you want to really start. The first one is -1 to 0, when you want to validate before you even jump in. 0 to 1 is a different journey. You constantly have to iterate, constantly listen to your customers, get the right team in place, understand whether you're progressing from point A to point B or not. A lot of times as a founder, you're blindsided that, this is great what I'm doing. I can see some progress. Constantly try and get in touch with people who give you an outside in perspective of what you're doing, because they're going to critique you. They're going to make you think twice whether what you're doing is right, what you're doing is wrong. Very easy to get caught up in your own game and kind of think that you're making progress every day, while somebody saying something can just click very, very well and move you to a different trajectory altogether.
Thank you. I think you are taking note of these basic points that every expert members they are giving from their life experience. So you will be the listener. Accordingly, you will take the notes so that the learning will be a part of doing, so that it can be implemented later on. Normally, we know that a business it has its some risk factor. In the point of discussion here, that when there is a risk, so it is the era of decision science. Data, every subject, every specialization, we need to analyze data, whether it is marketing or finance or HR, you have to know and explore your thought. In the era of generative AI, machine learning, we are under challenge to take decision. So when you are doing this startup, we are having, that in a business policy function, the formation of policy after scanning the business environmental part, whether it is micro level or in the micro level, which is under your control, which is beyond your control. So our objective is to get the opportunity from the internal strength. Internal means environmental strength, or convert the threat into opportunity. So to match. So in this perspective, whatever risk, that risk is not in the negative term. We have to take is has to conversion towards opportunity. So make it positivity. So I am requesting you, please enlighten us with the thoughts that how do you analyze the risk, how do you mitigate risk, and how you will make the scale up of the business so higher. So as an entrepreneur, you will be successful. Over to you.
So it is very important to know about the risk. What are the kind of risk which can crop up when you are growing your startup? So I'll only touch base on a couple of risks, important risks. There are many, but I'll touch base on 4 important risks. A, cash flow risk. B, market risk. C, uh, demand risk. And D, regulatory risk. So if you think about these 4 risk factors, when you plan well, you will be able to tide through difficult times. Cash flow risk is one of the most important and major risks which will come up to any startup founder, not just startup, even for established businesses. So you need to plan. See, your ways to expand is infinite, but sources of income or sources of funding is finite. So you will not have lots of money in your disposal to spend, but you will have lot of opportunities to spend. So you need to be very thoughtful in spending. And hence, it is very important to plan your cash flow, not just for the next 3 months, 6 months, but 1 year, 2 year, 3 year down the line, and also have plan A, plan B. If if you cannot get through that plan A, what is your plan B to fall back upon? So these things are very important. Otherwise, what will happen? You will have to suddenly put a brake, and it will hamper your growth. It will hamper your the credibility which you have built in the market. For example, you're not able to produce a certain quantity of product, and then the demand, and that will happen because you don't have working capital. What will happen? People or in the market, see, the loyalty is very less in today's world. People are not very loyal to your product. If they don't find your product on the shelf, they will move on to another product, and then to again drag them back will be difficult. So it is very important to plan your cash flow well in advance, and also have plan B, plan C in place. If this doesn't happen, how you want to go ahead with it. Second one is the market risk. So world has become very dynamic. Things keep changing on the drop of a hat. You may today you might be the only player. Tomorrow you will see there are four competitors which has come up, and there's a huge price war. So you need to think through all those things, and you need to be ready, and also be ready to pivot. Pivot your strategy. Pivot from one type of product with a particular feature to a different type of product. Now, market is one of the examples which everybody would know, which is about Nokia. Why Nokia failed? Because they didn't grow with the time or with the dynamic nature of the world. They thought they have built one product and it will last till eternity. And at one point in time, when Nokia was the market leader, and nobody could have thought about any other company, today see where they are. So market risk is very important. You need to be very, very well versed. How will you be well versed? By doing a lot of research. You need to be a subject matter expert about your product and the industry you are catering to with your product or services. If you are not abreast with it, you are not going to succeed. And you will be one of the victims of the market risk. The third is regulatory risk. These kind of risk will come up because the government may put in some regulations which will not allow you to do certain kind of thing which you are doing or certain kind of product which you are offering. For example, there were at one point in time there was a lot of feeder services. So when I say feeder services, bike sharing app which were connecting or which were taking people from one place to other. And there was a brief pause in that because government came up with certain regulations. So you need to think through all these things. Now, when e-pharmacists come up, when there were these pharmacy products started getting sold via online mode, there was again a lot of lacunae in the system, and there was a regulatory risk. Anytime government can come up and say, sorry, you're not allowed to sell via this online mode because of so and so reason, because this is a regulated market. This is a regulated service. So when you are into such kind of businesses, you need to think through the regulatory landscape as well. You guys are a student of IIFT, so cross-border trade. There will be a lot of regulation. When you are entering into making a strategy of selling your product internationally, you have to go through the regulatory risk which is prevalent not only in India, but wherever you are selling or intending to sell the product. So that is another risk you need to think about. And the fourth one is key man's risk. If your business, you are the only person, you don't have any co-founder, there will be a lot of risk, not just one. The major risk is what if something happens to you? Who is there to drive your business? Have you done succession planning well? Is there anybody to take the lead if you are away from the business for say 15 days or 1 month? You need to think through it very well. Secondly, is there somebody with a complementary skill sets in your business who is assisting you where you are not good at? My co-panelists had mentioned this briefly, but it is very important to look at other aspects also. You cannot be taking all your decisions by yourself because you are not an expert in it and you are not supposed to do that. You are only supposed to look at couple of things, strategize, and delegate things. All the big companies which you see, they are expert in delegating also, and that is why they are able to grow. Today, when you start a startup, you may be catering to hundreds of customers. Tomorrow, you are looking at catering to lakhs of customers. You cannot do it alone. You need to delegate. So these are, according to me, couple of risks. There are many more, but I would pause here and like to focus on these four.
Well, I am just sharing one experience. Can I tell stories and experience sharing? Yes. Are you fond of sweets? Though I can distribute sweet now, but I can share some experience of sweet. You know that in Kolkata, the names of the road called Harrison Road, which is now Mahatma Gandhi Road, from Howrah Bridge towards College Street, Seattle. In the very whatever he has pointed out, succession planning, just that fourth, he has mentioned the four areas. It is the example of the succession planning. Due to there is no succession, one family business closed. If you visit that place in Kolkata Borobazar area, this is the one of the destination of business destination mostly in eastern India, and also there is an influence all over India also. There is a sweetmeat shop named Deshbandhu Mishtanno Bhandar, a very popular brand in Kolkata. During pandemic, they closed. So I asked the owner that it is your family business, probably three generation, almost last 100 years. What is the reason? They told we have no succession. All are staying in, they're all management graduates, staying in Australia. Simple. So who will run the business? My age is now 82. And in Kolkata, Bhawanipur area, there is another headquarter of another sweetmeat, that is Balaram Mollik. Do you know the Balaram Mollik? Have you? I think all of you know the brand. And they are having currently 7 counters. Okay, anytime you visit, refer my name also. Probably you can get free sweets also as well. If the owner that day very in a joyous mood, you can get good flow. Pradeep Malik, the owner, very having no management degree, very common man, but he will be surprised to know during the pandemic time when social distance, sanitization, this practice came into existence in our lifestyle, they have started preparing sweets through robot. There are three robots, one from Japan, two from India, and it is a family business. And the next generation, uh, they are whatever you are referring, it is ready to accept. So every day they are experimenting with different types of variety, experimentation. So whatever we are saying, the innovation is not only in chemistry lab that 2KClO3 plus MnA2 is equal to 2KCl that will make some recreation. No, you have to, it is a concept selling. Business is concept selling. From there, we will get the competitive advantage. What is the point term, which is the quoted term of Michael Porter. Porter took competitive advantage in three generic strategy. One is leadership. You can take the leadership of the market by changing the different cost or product by differentiation of the product, either in terms of features or any other thing. Okay. In our childhood days, there was Horlicks. Horlicks market saturated. Then they started Junior Horlicks, Lifebuoy market. There is no other alternate market, but it is now exist with the different types of differentiation. And third one, that is for the startup is very much important. Told by Porter, iron three generic is focus. From this perspective, I am asking my fellow colleague here that for competitive advantage, what a startup should take the challenge for competitive advantage.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, before I give the answer, I'm going to take the example of what Sir just mentioned. So the next generation, Sudeep Malik is actually a very good friend of mine. We should have a child over here because that makes a lot of sense for you guys. And you also people exports and all of them. Great example, sir. Sudeep now has taken around more than 20 stores in China. More important than that is the competitive advantage. So from this, I give you certain examples. In the other one, the competitive advantage, since you know what. First is the product. You know that you definitely get a very good, tasty, it's hygienic and everything. Second is you enter the showroom these days, it looks like a high-end store. You know, like a tech shop. Where they positioned it, the way they projected it, it's a high-end. But third, for the most important part for you, since you're the IIFT, so first we used to have this whole thing, Sandesh has to be consumed in the same way. Right? So you say, okay, किसी को खाना है, you take it to Delhi also, Bombay also, oh my God, has to be taken the same day, you keep it in the fridge, etc. So they crack this particular formula where they keep the Sandesh fresh and they increase the shelf life to 30 days. Now that, my friends, is USP. And what a brilliant USP. They can export all of the world. They can sell it to other cities. And they have a major advantage over any other mithai selling company or even store. So that is one thing which we really need to learn from these guys who have been in this industry since years and decades. But we said, no, there is still room to disrupt. So getting more automated completely, the manufacturing units have got a great fish. But at the same time, the R&D is so strong that even a product like a Sandesh, the parent commodity which can be exported all over the world. If you get the margins, you'll be fascinated. So that's one thing. But having said that, for competitive advantage in any business, definitely there has to be a particular USP of your product. Like even Suraj mentioned right now, um, it could be in any area. So first of all, either be that the product doesn't exist for me and you've created something new. So that's definitely your USP, it's a disruptor. Second, it could be that there are products which are there, but your product has definitely many, many more features. And hence it's a better product. So that's your USP again, which is product centric. Third element could be that yes, there are products that are there in the market, but you provide the same product with a similar kind of value for the customer, but at a much lower price. You crack the price point. That's a great USP to have instead of just being a meat. Having said that, if you say, this is a great idea, there are more competitors, so I need to be a me too. It's very, very smart ways of cracking your own markets. Number one is design. So what is Apple? Apple is selling a mobile phone only, but their design, their aesthetics is out of this world. Be it UI, be it product. So there they've cracked that when they said, okay, whatever we do, our design is going to be the best in the world. So that's their USP. Second is the way of marketing. So how many people use OnePlus here? A lot of people, right? On a comparison of this. OnePlus came to the market, the marketing strategy was very different. New brand. But the bit of fear, remember, was what? Invitation only. When they came out with that on Amazon, only by invitation and this and that. So they created that in the mind, oh my god, this is a very exclusive product phone and all that. Actually, they are among the largest sellers of smartphones, being unknown. Similarly, there are many other brands that you all will have plenty of examples that why how with just smart copying, how with just smart positioning, people are going to marketing. Kia is another example. Every in the market in the movies, but right now they're among the leaders. Value for money, design. So they said, okay, gadi banat. There are more people making cars, but how do we enter this market? Make vehicles. So that part is, I think, the crux of any business. In the beginning, you have to understand is my USP going to be. So they say in marketing, we have the chart, right? The gap analysis. Where is the gap? Is it in price? Is it in product? Is it in timing? For example, Indigo's positioning was only we'll be the only airline who will be on time. That's how we project ourselves. That's what they played on. They didn't on price, they didn't play on fancy air hostesses or this or that. Many airlines have started. They played on time with that work. So there's always a gap. Based on that gap, you need to find a use. Now I'll see how do you do that? Just a little bit on that. So we all are MBAs, right? I'm saying we because I'm also an MBA. So I come from the same thought process like you. When I go to an engineering college for any kind of talk, let's say IITs or anything, the students come up and they make brilliant products, robotics and this mobile app and flying drones and this and that and wonderful. But when I ask them, guys, how are you going to make this a business? They have no clue. They have left brain. They are great at products, they're great at numbers and this and that. I'm an MBA. So ask any of you, okay, what's your business idea? You will give me the logo, the design, the ad. we can videos, you'll have everything connected. I'll have business plan. But if I say, where's the product? There will be a question mark. If you have a great idea, maybe ye banana, it's a great idea. There should be a small drone which does this. Yeah, it's a great idea. But who's going to make that drone? So what even we all have mentioned earlier in this back also, if you want to create that USP or you want to create a startup or anything, it's very important to have co-founder team from complementary skill sets. So if you are an MBA, you are great at sales and marketing, you are a right-brained individual who's great at creativity, you're brilliant at that. Stick to that. Get somebody else to help you with product if you're looking at that. And then can you gain a competitive advantage and start thinking of USPs and all that? Because then as a team you can build that. Otherwise, it's very difficult. Same thing, even in the beginning when I started, how to spend money is very important. So if you ask the marketing person to hire a tech team, will they do that? Will they be able to know also what work is they doing? Is it valid? How much would I pay them? How do I retain them? They can't, right? But they do that and they feel this spend so much. Similarly, you ask a tech guy or an engineer, make your media plan and start making, where you spend on putting your digital ads and all that. They do that actually and they waste them. Why? Give it to the right person, give it to the right expert who's doing that. You focus on what is your core strength. And I think that's the crux of that's one.
Just add one thing. You go back and study Avenue Supermarket's model, how they have created this competitive. It is all about pricing and sourcing. Just read through it. It's an amazing business. It has made super profits. It got listed. Even people who bought their IPO, they also enjoyed. All of you should go and read their model, how they have done.
Thank you. I just share on my experience. It was 2002-3 that he was mentioning on the research R&D for a new startup, new business. I don't know how many of you heard the name of Mr. K.D. Pal. Have you heard the name? You have not heard, but he is one of the visionary and not very far away. If you go through this Ma flyover towards Ravindra Sadan, their house is there. He is a pioneer of the brand Whisk Farm. Okay. So I can remember he is from the Bardhaman district, and I am also from the same district. Our ancestral house there, we are having a contact. So I can remember when I was a student, during my one project, a group of XLRI and IM students, we are visiting with him, his Ulberia Extension Center. If you travel towards Golaghat, then on the way, this factory is there. It's a very new factory at that time. He was very happy to take us to look at the factory. So my intention was not to look the factory, but to get a basket of biscuit. Then I had that very tasty and different types of biscuit they are offering, and I was very much delighted that I will get a handful of biscuit from the chair. But when I was visiting, I can still remember one HR manager was there. His name was Falguni Mukhopadhyay. He was thinking, sir, please come this side, that this is our R&D sector. And everyone it is automated. And from there, they are taking the sample and they are checking. And everything, the materials management and production implemented with all techniques of TQM and whatever you were studying in production operation management. I was so surprised. But unfortunately, this company from this very inception to followed by 3-4 years incurring loss. Mr. Paul thought that he will hand over the company to someone. It is very tough for him to continue the business of this farm band due to some different reason. One of the reason is logistic and supply chain. Gradually, 2007-8, they are having another business, a operator agency in the logistic part, here only in the Kolkata Minto Park area. Then they are gradually manage the logistic and supply chain, and they have changed the business proposition. That means every time you are experimenting, but they were very strict on quality, on R&D, and somehow by 15 years, huge their turnover. And now they are successful brand, and they have first started that with biscuit, there can be done one shopping destination that people are going just back. They introduced few years back on. You have seen. So this is very interesting. We need to come to an end probably. If you have any questions, you can share with us. And I am prior to that, I am very keen to make you understand also and also for my learning. If there is a startup, very good, concept is good, finance is good, people are good, but this is an era, digital era. Okay, we are in a two country, we are having dual citizenship. We are in a country where we are here, that is the name of the country, India, and then another country named Bharat. Okay, India is signing. Then what is the condition of Bharat? Both the countries in a same space, we have to space, time, dimension, we have to need. Digitally, we are very powerful today. So now I am interested from Mr. Biyani that what should be the basic promotional tools, mostly using the digital marketing for the startup. It is very important with the effect of AI and ML. So it is the era that startups must have good promotional policy. How? What?
So I think we are all products of the digital age today. We were just discussing before coming in here where Anjan mentioned how his parents now can think of buying online, which they couldn't perceive in their earlier days, possibly ever that this would even happen in the first place, right? So the fact is that whether you purchase online or offline, right? The fact is that whether you purchase online or offline, your influence online doesn't matter. You could go and purchase from any channel. The influencing of a customer, whether it be a B2B product or a B2C product, is largely driven online and digital. And if you don't have the right kind of presence today, you are not going to make it irrespective of whatever kind of company you are. Coming to channels and promotions and strategies, see the Google SEO playbook is overdone. Everybody understands digital marketing, search engine optimization, Facebook advertisement, meta advertisement, influencer marketing. A lot of those playbooks have just been developed, overdone with, repeated. They are hygiene in today's date if you really want to build a company. Those are not areas that are going to make you stand apart. Right? You have to cut through the clutter because everybody is already doing that. Everybody has to some level mastered it. Second, those channels are becoming more expensive by the day. CAC is not going down, CAC is going up. Right? So you need to start finding newer ways of getting your customers faster, cheaper, better, with more virality. Right? When you want to do that, some of those decisions have to be baked into how you're building your product or your company. Classic example, Suraj mentioned OnePlus. Do you think they invested in Google search? They invested in Facebook, Meta? None. They just created a marketing strategy where they created exclusivity, they created scarcity, and they went all out on a single channel. That led to so much word of mouth for them that it decimated their CAC. It was very, very low. And that really created referral virality. See, the best kind of customer that you can always get is from a referral. Because when somebody refers one customer to the other, that's the best chance of conversion. That's the best chance of highest customer NPS that you can get. So all your product decision making should be focused on relying on getting more virality through existing customers, being able to distribute that better. I can give you 4 more examples. How many of you were around when Uber was launched in India? Like, do you use Uber when it was launched in India? Did any of you use Uber in 2014, 2015, early time? Yes. I know you might have been young, a lot of you. So Uber, when it came up, it gave 500 rupees for every referral. My wife used to be in KJ Somaya at that time. What she did, she took that referral, she ran an SEO campaign on that 500 rupee referral, earned 1 lakh rupees through that by other people using that referral. But Uber hardly spent any money on SEO or search during its initial days. The referrals are what pulled through. They dialed down the referrals, but the virality got built in very, very quickly. Another example is TikTok. TikTok had to fight off a Facebook, a Meta, Google, so many different platforms. In their initial days, and even today, TikTok was the first one which let you download that particular video that you saw onto your phone. Not just that, after that, you could share it immediately on WhatsApp, and there used to be a watermark called TikTok in every video. That was done by them that created a lot of know-how about people that what are they watching? Where are they really watching? Take Google Pay, scratch card. How many of you have gotten decent money from Google Pay scratch card? Everybody, right? All of that is out of the box thinking. So a company like Google, which owns the Play Store, which owns the search engine, still went ahead and did a different channel of marketing or a different way to market their products. Right? So you can't rely on the traditional methods. They are kind of done with their hygiene. You always need to be good with it, but you got to go above and beyond and start thinking. Just to add a final point where in today's date when generative AI has kicked in, the ability of anybody to build a brand or the ability of any individual to start creating content, start creating marketing related material has become much, much more powerful. The barrier to do that has become much lower. I don't need to be a professional videographer to shoot a really good video. I need to know how to do good prompting. That's more important. Can you think of what you want? Can you put it down clearly? You can expect technology to create that for you. Okay? You can create collateral around photos, around videos, around a lot of stuff. Simple hacks like one of the things that we are planning is, let's say, can I give a small generative AI tool for my customers who are, let's say, B2C brand merchants to come and ask any question on how to sell online. That generates a top of the funnel for us, which can then further lead to conversion. You got to think above and beyond the traditional digital channels. Otherwise, it is always going to be a slow burn and there is not really going to be enough takeoff.
So, very good suggestions. I already explored, and out of our discussion, I have already, from a teacher's look, I am looking. Many of you are sleeping, and who are you sleeping? I can refer the names also. The coordinator who have made me contact. From the second row, fourth one is sleeping. From the third one is sleeping. He is sleeping. So I think when audience sleeping means, am I not creating the session attractive? Is it not attractive session? Then please honestly share. I'll share one story because I have already told during lunch time it is very challenging. Mr. Bachchan is asking Birando Sehwag. Okay, when Bidu was batting, the wicketkeeper used to listen to Kishore Kumar music because he normally a very good sports person but enjoying time. In one cricket match, he was a middle order batsman. We are talking about different thoughts. Your thoughts needs to be changing. He was a middle order batsman, but in one test match, almost the four senior players are there. Sachin Tendulkar, Rahul Dravid, VVS Lakshman, Saurav Ganguly, and Ganguly is the captain. So there is no space in the middle order for Virendra Sehwag. So, and there are many openers who are tested, but that they couldn't any mark in the Indian cricket team, like that time Shatkap and Ramesh and others also tested. Then, with the advice of Zaid Khan, Ganguly offered the role of the opener of test match. But some of them advised not to take the chance, because if you are the opener, you will not get any place in the middle order in later future because you are wrong in the middle order. Then he requested the captain, why you are giving me the chance? Why not you are going to open? So Ganguly told, I am the captain, so it is my decision. When Viru was going, and he never requested the captain that I want to bat in the middle order. So what is the reason? Because all the success came from the opening batsman. And then he told how I became myself changed the strategy because Ganguly, Tendulkar, Rahul Dravid in West cricket they made century out of 200 balls. I thought if I want to make a mark in the international cricket and to get the attention of the public and popular, I have to make Test cricket century by 50 balls, 60 balls, 70 balls. So if you take his note, you will find when he is doing double century, triple century by marking the 6 run from 195 to 6, then 201. This is a huge style. And then he became the international cricket very successful. If you want to build a startup, your thoughts, whatever he has just now told, it is a shift, transition from the traditional look from a different look. And every time you will be the contemporary situation based, it is the modern. Modern means in 1900, what they have thought that time it was modern. In now, whatever we are thinking, that is modern. So there is no question that modern means it is contemporary. So your thoughts should be there. I will expect any question. If you are having any question, then we can continue. Otherwise, we have to sum up. And I have one question coming for all of them. That will be a final call and final advice to all of our young learners. I will request them to share their thoughts. Then out of our discussion, what actually should motivate you instead of a job seeker, you will be a job giver. You will be starting a startup. The success of this session will be if we can inspire you to be an entrepreneur. What will be the motivation? Everyone will share their thoughts. Before that, we will take a few questions.
Hello, sir. It was an enlightening session. So I'm Pranit Tapadia from the batch of 24. And my question is from the investor perspective. Like when we look at a startup from the investor perspective, so the valuations and the ratio of valuations with respect to the revenue are, I mean, they're very, very high. I mean, revenues are very low compared to the valuation. So how should an investor look into the startup from the sustainability point of view in that to look for investing in the startup? So what should be the parameter regarding the sustainability? They should be looking.
Okay, understood. So do you have any specific, any moderator to whom you want, or it is a general, everybody can answer? So I request you to answer.
Sure, I'll take this. So see, there has been a shift of thought and shift of the way investors used to think about it. And that is where you will see now investors have become more profit centric. Before, there were a lot of vanity metrics like GMV, gross merchandise value, which made no sense at all because it was not actually the revenue of that startup. It was actually, so for example, taking an example of Myntra or Amazon, gross merchandise value is not their revenue. They are selling that product, they are getting only a small percentage of what for them. So that was the time when ecosystem was getting built. So it made some sense in terms of metrics. Now the ecosystem is built, and now all these investors have started looking at whether the company has the ability to make profit in future, and that is when they will invest. Before there were very ludicrous valuations which came up. Right now, today also at certain point you will see some startups claiming very high valuation and then gradually they start faltering. They do down rounds like Farmeasy and others, Aiju, they do down rounds. The reason is initially they got very huge valuation because investors felt that market is there, they will be able to execute well. get make their business and start getting revenues and profit, but they were not able to do, and that is why this round valuation started. So what investors generally see is very large addressable market. The market has to be very large. There has to be a sustainable advantage. The more of the business. Some of my co-panelists spoke about that also. There has to be that more. Like when Bal- Balram Malik started building that foundation, which has been said like 30 years, that's a more. So you need to have that kind of a mode which will attract the investors, and then you can charge some premium also, and then the valuation may go up. And the third and most important thing is the team and the execution capability. So in today's world, these funds they look at what the credentials of the founding team. If the founding team is not that great, and if they don't see that they have a vision which is far-sighted, they have a vision which can take the company to the next 5, 10 years, because these startups may not be making profit in 1 years. It may take longer time, but the vision of the founder should be strong enough to take that company, which can see the light 5 years down the line. So these are the three most important things any investor will look at for investing. Valuation, yes, it's a different topic. Some startups may have very high valuation, which is not justifiable, and which will eventually fail or which will eventually have to go for down rounds. But these are the main three important aspects which investors look at.
Thank you. Hope you are satisfied. Okay, any question? Be brief and yes, please.
Good afternoon, sir. I'm Rashi Agarwal, and my question is actually directed to Suraj, sir. So having spent a couple of months in college, like my personal observation has been that college doesn't really foster entrepreneurship. It makes you employable, but I'm not sure it makes you like a job given. So I wanted to understand from your perspective how someone who wants to like make the family business more smart, how can we transition the legacy systems into solutions that are more savvy? How should they focus on like process or should they focus on innovative products? So your 2 cents on that, please.
Great question. It's something which we're actually actively working on. Like, you are already the students to start their businesses, either new or survive with their family business. Now, you very rightly said that, generally the education system, the fostering of entrepreneurship is done. So, the whole reason I started Freeflow, in fact, was came from this particular event at IIT Kharagpur, that it was a hackathon of entrepreneurship at night. So I was there for the entire night, and there were so many students presenting their ideas and all that. And ultimately, and everywhere, that was associated with even the startup India Yatra on all the states. But everywhere I saw, after the event, what's happening, the students are called, like, my cash, right now, 10,000, 20,000. So I keep asking, then what? Who's going to now take them and make this a company? Because then some products are fantastic, they can, but there was nothing there. Sadly, there still is this huge gap. So that's definitely one part. And second, I saw for myself there were some brilliant students who had made some fascinating products. And then I saw when the employment day came, they went into companies like Poyo and and frankly, there was one of the reasons why I started. So one of the ways to do that is, let's say, if you're talking only from the perspective of diversifying your family business, let's say you're into garments. Okay, let's say you're to manufacturing garments. Now, take a hypothetical example. It's diversified by starting a website, which is D2C, and I'm going to make products and I'm going to sell to this audience t-shirts and streetwear and shoes. I'm just giving you a hypothetical. So that becomes your start. So treat that diversification as a new startup, not as this big bulky company which you have, because you never have the nimbleness, the speed, the agility of a startup. If you say कि मैं अपने बड़े company को ही आगे बढ़ानी, no. Take the leverage all the strengths you can from there. You have a factory already, you have people already, you have sensors set, great. So your supply chain is sorted, your process is sorted, your credit is sorted. You don't have to pay your own family. You say you're 2 months के बाद आपके 3 months के बाद आपको ये फायदा. Take those strengths, whatever you want to do, treat that like a startup. In fact, make it a startup. If required, it should be a different company, a different branding. You can start to actually go to a proper acceleration program. Where there was so various. Like I said, if you are from a media background, you must have somebody who's handling the tech, who knows that if it's a D2C, I'm just taking this example, and so on and so forth. So once you do that, once you have a team of people who are complementary, who are handling the other parts which you don't know, you're taking the right strengths from your company or from your parent company, which is helping, and you connect the dots in that way. That will be a great way to start. Um, it's got a term also which we are using now. There are very few in India. I think there's 4 or 5. And one myself also venture builder. This term is called venture building. And venture building means where there are several people collaborating and building a venture together, not you. You're not just you. So if your strength is manufacturing, somebody's strength is marketing, somebody's strength is tech, somebody's strength is operations. 4 people come together, whether you employ them, whether they are more your co-founders, whether it's an acceleration company, or whatever. But if these people come together and make it a success, it's actually much faster, much easier. Seen successes, let's say success ratio of let's say 8:1 when we reach this. So I think that's one way where you should look at it.
Thank you. We can take one question more if anyone. You are yes.
And I'm Biyani from the batch of 25. So previously, I tried building my own startup. So I have 2 questions. So firstly, is it's very difficult to find the right set of partner to actually go ahead. Are there any because of that I was not able to move ahead faster because so is there anything that can be followed to find the right set of partners that we can do with? That's my first question. And second one is set of team members that is just mentioned. So to stay motivated for a very long time, it has been very difficult for me. So are there any techniques that can be followed to make sure that to keep them motivated?
If we categorize your question, one is your searching partner. It is one right selection. In statistics, you are doing standard error, type 1 error, type 2 error. Yes. Similarly, here also in selection process, we have 2 types of error. Sometimes we are rejecting the right person and accepting the wrong person. That sometimes it happens. So, and another question was that how to motivate. So, first is motivation comes from within. So, are you motivated? It is a first question. Are you motivated? If you are motivated, there is no question of negativity. Yes, and you are just probably 23 or 24 years old, probably. So I think you're just as a startup, you also start up your career, professional life. There is no question of give up. Oh, but these three, they are successful entrepreneurs. They can give answer much more better. I request you to answer him.
Firstly, I think kudos that you've started already. You've attempted. And I can completely relate to the questions that you have asked. This is my third company. And I can tell you the first two largely reasons for failure were either co-founder issues or the cash flow risks, which I did mention initially. This time round, before starting the company, I did a bunch of things which were very different from what I did last time back. First, I met at least 25 to 30 people before settling on anybody. I worked with at least 5 people for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, depending on whatever time frame I could get, and worked in a one-to-one capacity. Like we actually started building something together, right? Not just you can't really jump into it because you don't know where things might go, what the other person's temperament is, what their character is, whether they're in it for the long run, how do they behave when they're put under pressure. A majority of startups fail because of co-founder conflicts, right? And that is the single most important thing that you need to look to get right. The third thing that I did this time around was we had a 50 question, 50 page, like 50 questions that we wrote down. There are a lot of templates that you'll find out there. YC has one. There are other people who have put those out. So very hard hitting questions which force you to ask why you want to start a company, how do you work, what is your end goal, what money would you be satisfied with making, do you want to raise venture capital or not, what kind of team you want to build, what kind of culture you want to build, why are you going after this problem statement, and a lot of these. It'll take you a week to just answer those 50 questions. The two of us sat down, answered each of those questions, spent 4 days looking at each of those answers and seeing what kind of thought process did we have. That really told me that looks like this makes sense. There will obviously be adjustments you'll have to do. You can't be perfect. Nobody can be perfect. But there's something you can sound out much more before you actually start working and going in full time with somebody else. Right? And that questionnaire bit is super, super important. I suggest anybody and everybody here who ever goes into venture building with somebody else, do that so that you're aligned on the long-term goals. You know that people will stick around and they won't buckle under pressure and will perform to their best capabilities that are needed. The other part is how do you keep a team motivated? Most people run on incentive, like everybody runs on incentive in life. You got to find what's the right incentive for the right kind of team member. For somebody, it might be wealth. For somebody, it might be recognition. For somebody, it might be impact. Each individual has a different lever or a different pressure point, which really ticks them. That's the thing that you need to understand. What everybody wants is growth of their own self. Right? People can think growth again in terms of variables of wealth, in terms of how popular they are in the world, or in terms of how powerful they've become, and so on the kind of culture that you want and the kind of people you're taking, you need to find what drives this individual, and how do you give them what drives them, so that they're constantly motivated and they constantly deliver over and above whatever you're seeking out of them. I hope that answers it.
I think he has pointed out on all the areas from the life experience. So that means don't give up your hope, continue your own objective and maintain, and definitely it can be refreshed to different type of discussions, and working on it you will get the path automatically. And definitely I can only out of the box can give you one suggestion: to definitely talk with or take the help of those persons who are successful. If you are taking suggestion from those people who are always talking with you the stories of failure, automatically you will be demotivated. So choose your people around you whom you trust as one good motivator. Definitely you will reach your sustainable goal. Thank you.
I just want to add a point to what you were asking, and because it's a very relevant example. This founder who is working with us, and he just mentioned we have a strategic investor in that. Just like you, he was a student in Heritage, name is Anjan. He started business within the college, started making these products, and we built the venture together that he all confidence was telling me about. Before he left the college, he employed 10 people from that. So there are road to success stories like he had exactly the problem that you may have think that you might have. Three of his co-founders left, came, left, came, left, came. But to answer your question, the best things to do is now there are loads of startup events that happen all over the country. Attend them all. All. What will happen is that if you are looking for a partner of a certain genre, that person is looking for a partner just like you. You will find these people in those events and you know who's looking for. It's not one. Number two, before you finalize on any partner, there are two things which are very key, which also has been covered. But first, if you are clear about your job role and what their job role is, then When comes to conflict becomes nothing. In case of Anjan, his clarity of role was clear. Those who couldn't perform, they went back, he was still there. You understand? That's one thing. The second is, of course, incentivization. Like, that of course is a key factor. But even when you're employing people and you want them, key people to be with you in the long term, ESOPs is a very good option also. These smaller companies are employing others, and that was maybe, a good space for you to look at it. That's what I want to leave you.
On behalf of the whole IIFT fraternity, I want to sincerely thank our panelists, Mr. Anjan Gupta, Mr. Suraj Juneja, Mr. Ankit Biyani, and our moderator, Juneja sir, for their invaluable contribution during this discussion. Your insights, expertise, and thoughtful perspectives on market topics such as aggregating ideas and products, looking for clients instead of customers, exemplifying right, identification and understanding pain points of customers, followed by risk analysis, competitive advantage, and promotional tools have significantly enriched the discussions. It is through your collective efforts that we have gained fresh insights and perspectives that will undoubtedly shape the way we approach these topics moving forward. However, before we conclude, we are to introduce our e-sales exciting initiative, an endeavor very close to our hearts. Same, I would like to call Sir Senior Cell Coordinator e-sale to take it forward from here.
Hello. Thank you all, guests, for your patience and being an excellent audience. I'm thrilled to introduce the IIFT Kolkata Accelerator, initiative of eCell at IIFT Kolkata. This accelerator program is a commitment to innovation, problem solving, and strong hold of knowledge of trade and international business, nurturing an entrepreneurship spirit within our institute. So let's reveal our logo of IFT's accelerator, which is LIIFT. I would like to thank Mabu Ganesh Venkat Sai Akhil. He had suggested this. Coming to the objective of the accelerator, which is very important, is to leverage the expertise and entrepreneurial spirit of the students batch within the institute to address the real world problems posed by startups and MSMEs. The implementation of the accelerator will be happening in two phases. The phase one will focus on spreading awareness and developing meaningful relations, collaborating with the businesses and the startups. These real life problems, which will be provided by them, will provide students hands-on experience and learning business problems, enabling and developing skills which are required. Also, for the second phase, we will be building up a network. We'll be building up a network and partnership, creating a robust community and making a positive impact on startups as well as the entire ecosystem. As we embark on the transformative journey, I would like to invite our esteemed speakers to join in the traditional lightning of the lab. And as it's the beginning of the new accelerator, it would be a great initiative. you so much, sir.
On behalf of the organizing committee and all the participants, I want to extend our sincerest appreciation for your time, effort, and expertise. We are especially thankful for your support in launching the IIFT Kolkata Business Accelerator initiative that will be a lasting impact on our community. Now, I would be requesting CCs to present a token of appreciation to the speakers, starting with Mr. Anjan. We'll be requesting the SSCs to present a token of appreciation to Mr. Suraj Juneja. I will be requesting SSCs to present a token of appreciation to Shovendu Mujimdar sir. And now, Mr. Ankit Biyani. Thank you so much, everyone, for being the beautiful audience. Thank you.